All right. So, okay, Haley, so you were two-time arm lifting world champion. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is
Okay,
correct.
because
Yes.
I wrote that down because I saw it somewhere from your Instagram bio. That's where I saw it. And but I don't know what exactly that means. Like, so if you
Okay.
could, sorry. Here we are, all three of us. You know me and Austin. Now we have Haley Gow here, a special guest. And so, if Haley, if you
Hi.
could give us like kind of a rundown on, like, I don't know, like your sporting background and how you got into the games.
Sure. Um, well, I grew up playing, like I'm obviously very tall. You've met me. I grew up tall. I played basketball and volleyball and kind of excelled at volleyball and found a passion for that. And played in high school and then I transitioned to club volleyball. I played junior Olympic volleyball and then I got a scholarship to play volleyball in college. Continued playing college volleyball, where that gave me an opportunity to play professionally overseas and did that. And then got kind of homesick and some family stuff was going on, so I moved back home, and then for a while I just continued playing like in rec leagues and strength training, and I happened upon Highland Games just going to my local Celtic festival. I had an old friend that was a shot putter and I saw her throwing, and I was just like, "What the hell is this? What is it? What is this sport? This is so crazy! Like you're throwing a tree trunk around. What is that bag? Is that a sheep? Like sheep? What is that?" And she just kind of gave me the lay of the land and said, you need to contact an athletic director. Because you have no throwing background at all, you're going to have to come to some practices, touch the implements, kind of get familiar with them before we'll let you come out here. And I contacted the athletic director to my local games and I said, I want in next year. And pretty much he said that there was a waiting list and I needed to practice with some locals before he would give me the green light. And I bought a kilt like immediately. And before I ever practiced, and I think I showed up to my first practice like with it, like, okay, hey guys, do I wear this yet? Or like, how does it work? And, I just kind of fell in love with the community first and the sport second, because naturally I wasn't very gifted at it. And, didn't really find my groove for the first couple years I did it, and just kind of did it for fun, really. And then something clicked, and I enjoyed it more, and I got better, and then I wanted to actually practice and buy some implements. And so this past summer was my 8th summer doing it, or my 8th season, I guess. So that's Highland
Very cool.
Games. Yeah. And
So,
along the
so
way,
your,
I got involved. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'll say, so your first games had a wait list. Where is that at?
Yeah, at Niagara Celtic, I don't think it has one anymore,
Hmm.
because we actually had a hard time filling out the women's class this year with like a bunch of cancellations, but it was, for our area anyway, a really prestigious games to get into. And a lot of women like were on a wait list for years. And I remember my first year, like I just went to it, like hoping that somebody wasn't going to be there. And
Hmm.
in fact, that did happen. And I showed up and he allowed me to throw. And I think I came in 3rd place, which I was like, oh my God, I must be decent at it, but I was really terrible. But it was just like I guess beginner's luck kind of thing, because my next games it was not that. And I threw with Heather Haddock, and she at the time just like killed me in every single event. I'm like, okay, so that's a really good thrower. And that's what I kind of, okay. So I had it to compare to, like a big fish in small pond kind of situation. And then seeing that, okay, outside of my state, outside of my area, there's actually really amazing athletes at this. And, if I want to be invited to more, I kind of have to put in the work and the effort to get better at it. So, yeah.
So when did you find like grip training and arm lifting and stuff like that?
So I've been doing that. I guess, had my 2-year anniversary officially with the sport. Some guys from my gym were practicing it. So I went to the Arnold 2 years ago for Highland Games. And a guy at my gym was like, oh, I'm going to be at the Arnold too. I'm going for arm lifting. And I was like, what the hell? What is that? I've never heard of it. And I thought like maybe it was an arm wrestling, moss wrestling, like some weird hybrid sport that I hadn't heard of. And he explained that it was like grip intensive. And, I'm like, okay, well, I played volleyball for a number of years and like just like blocking and being at my position, like I developed strong fingers. So I messed around with some of the implements he had at the gym and, he said like, oh, those are good numbers for a girl. So, you should try it. And I'm like, okay. And then he had like a local contest with some of the implements and I did them. And the president of Armlifting USA actually came through our gym to put on a clinic. And he's the one that encouraged me, okay, well, we have an open class at the Arnold on Sunday. So if you throw on Friday, you'll have a day of rest, and then you should be able to compete on Sunday, no problem. So I said, okay, and I signed up, and I ended up winning the women's open category at the Arnold, my first big contest, and kind of fell in love with it. So ever since then, I've been training it and with my regular strength training and found a knack for it and kind of progressed pretty quickly. And like you said at the beginning, I now have 2 world championships in the sport and a podium finish at the Arnold. And, like I said, I won the first time I went there. So it's been pretty great.
Yeah.
Not expected to have that much success, in a new sport, but I found something that works for me. So
Sure. So when you win the world championship, is that like overall across different events or those like single lifts?
So the World Championships is 3 main lifts. So I won all 3 in my weight class. Now we're separated by weight classes. And so we had this one, we had a Saxon bar lift, which is a deadlift with like if you're not familiar, like a square bar instead of a round barbell. And then we had the Rogue Anvil implement, which was a record breaker event at the Arnold, I believe, last year, but they always kind of do them. A really heavy implement. It's shaped like a cone. It's kind of impossible to hold, and that's what makes it so challenging. But I managed a pretty high number on that, like beating some of the men that were there. So that was pretty exciting. And then the final event was a rolling handle medley, which you get like ascending weights on a implement that kind of rolls in your hand. And it's really difficult to kind of keep straight. It's all primarily about wrist strength and just going in ascending order. And then the last one was for reps. And you have like a minute to finish as many as possible. And I just sealed the deal with that event, and I got like 27 reps, which
that's a lot.
which beat everybody. And I don't know that anyone out of any other class got I could be wrong that many, but so it was a pretty good win. I, was smiling ear to ear, and I don't really I don't like Las Vegas, and I went out there alone, and I was just like so hot and uncomfortable, and it's not my favorite place in the world, and it was just like I got in and got out of there. It wasn't like a leisure or fun trip. It was like I'm going there for one goal, and I'm going there for one goal and getting the hell out. So, but that was a couple of weeks ago. So, which now I have a pro invite for the Arnold in March. So I'm starting to train for that.
Nice.
Awesome. So the rolling handle implement, is that like a rolling thunder? Is it the same as that, or is it different? Or is it the same thing?
Exactly. So rolling thunder, and then, oh God, if anyone's listening to this, they're gonna get mad. So I think ours was Country Crush. So Country Crush is a different maker. Iron Mine makes the other one, and then Country Crush makes different size diameters, but the same thing. So it's a rolling handle, and they're pretty difficult for a lot of people. It's like a wrist wrench, but quite expensive, quite expensive toy to buy. But that's what grip is. It's like you need a new thing every time somebody comes out with something, and like Highland Games, it turns into an expensive hobby.
Right. Yeah, the Iron Mine stuff, that's the only like grip equipment I'm familiar with. And all my knowledge comes directly from Iron Mine.
Oh yeah, no, I mean they've been around forever. Just with the grippers, the hand grippers, and the world records. They keep track of a lot of those world records and who can close the grippers, and the grip strength tool. That I don't remember what it's called, but I've seen them where like a lot of
Austin,
athletes will.
Austin knows what they're called. What's it called, Austin?
What was
gripper
that?
measurer, the gripper measurer thing.
Something monitor.
Dynamometer.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's dynometer.
Yeah,
Dynometer. Yeah,
dynometer.
Yeah. Same thing. Have you ever done any of the Captains of Crush?
Yes.
What's the highest you've closed?
1.5 or 1.5. So I'm not very I'd say grippers aren't my thing, because when I first got into arm lifting and grip sport, like I, picked the brain of everybody who was better than me or everybody that had won, before. And I was just like, well, what do I need to do? I got these from my office at work. Do I just kind of sit there and practice with them? And it was either no, don't do that, because grippers are only going to make you good at like a crushing grip, or your ability to close a gripper. It's not going to translate to every grip kind of event. So like there's pinch grip, crushing, thick bar, rolling handle, and then there's all these weird implements kind of thrown in. So gripper strength is just one kind of, like in Highland Games, you have to be good at all 9 events. So gripper strength is just one part of it. So if you focus only on that, you're only going to develop your crushing grip, and everything else is going to suffer. So it was like, don't do those all the time unless you're going for unless you're going, okay, I want to crush the 2, or I want to crush the 2.5 as a woman and set a record. It was suggested not to spend any time on it and just kind of warm up your fingertips with them instead of practicing it. So I don't spend too much time with grippers, but I know a lot of guys do them just for fun and to kind of compare themselves to their friends. And
yeah, that's what I
do. Exactly. Like, oh, I can close this, and but it's an insane feat of strength. and only a handful of men have closed the 4, and there's different ones that are rated, and they're all very impressive, but it's not my expertise, I guess.
Yeah, I have a series of grippers, and I've got the T, the training one, all the way up to a 2, and I can close the 2 like 5 times in a row, like pretty good, like pretty easy. And so I haven't got a 3 yet, but I need to get one of those and try it, because like 3 is like that's like getting up there and like that crushing strength. I'm really excited about it.
Exactly. And you can jump, because I remember closing the 1 and I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy, and I bought the 2 and I was nowhere close. And I'm like, okay, well,
Okay.
I did this way wrong, and I had to go back down. But it's funny, because once it's gone, it's gone. Yeah, they probably do. And there's different companies that make different ratings too on them, like pounds of pressure. And
yes, I have a set of, I don't want to say off-brand, but I'm sure they're off-brand, that are just like 50 through 200 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if I can do all of them or not, if I can get that 200 or not. I think it's close if I can't, but I haven't played with them in a while, so we can say I can, just because no one's going to check.
Fair enough.
It's pretty interesting. There's like a whole grip community, and there's like a grip board, like a forum online, and like people will post their closes, and then other people will judge them like, oh, you're cheating, or that wasn't a real close. And there's like a whole community of men mostly, that get really like upset about it, and they're very like, purists in that part of the sport. And it's just kind of fun to watch for me, because I don't take that side of it too seriously. Like, I'm not paying attention who's cheating. Like, if it's a close, it's a close to me. And it's all impressive, but they're like accusing people of baking them in the oven to soften them up, and it's all very, yeah, it's a lot. But there are people that want it to remain I don't know what the word for it is, pure.
Pure, yeah.
I don't know. Like, they're against a lot of stuff, but it's fun for me to just go in there and watch what the drama is and stay out of it.
Oh, it's fun to view it. You'll never see me commenting on anything. I'll just watch.
Exactly. And like the one time I did make a comment about, I think there's a blob lift and arm lifting, where, I don't know if you've seen it. It's like the end of a dumbbell, and they range from, like, they're usually Yorks, and they're pretty wide. And I called them boring, because I thought like it was just boring. And then they ended up being contested at the Shaw Classic, and then everybody came for me and sent me all sorts of mean messages. But
well, that's because Brian Shaw has like the largest collection of blobs I've ever seen. But like, they are kind of boring. I will agree with you.
Yeah, like, and I'm like, it's just an opinion. Is this the first time you've been online? Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand it. If you don't agree with somebody, just move on. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I don't get the whole fighting in somebody's comment section. It's.
I looked into getting a couple of like York blobs, and they're kind of hard to get. They're not like available, which is frustrating.
They're very hard to get, and when you do find one, they're extremely pricey. And then, like, if you find somebody across the country and you want it to be shipped to you, you're talking like $600 later, and it's
right.
It's a hassle. So I just use like big rocks and to train like a wide hold on that. And there's like a loadable blob you can buy that's much easier on the pocketbook. But look into that.
That actually has turned into a a game of mine now is like, pretty much every stone I come across, throwing or whatnot, I'll try and pick up with one hand.
Yeah, it becomes a challenge. Like even like
Yeah.
groceries, like I'll have like a box of protein shakes in a square, and I'm like, oh, that's a little bit wider than a Saxon. Let me see if I can carry that in with my groceries inside with one hand. And it just becomes like it. Once you start doing it, you'll just start grabbing random stuff, like holding on to door frames and putting your body weight on stuff, lifting yourself up with your fingertips. It's like a weird, I don't know. It's a niche sport, but it's growing. So
I mean, I used to say Highland Games is the nichest of sports. But I think like grip strength stuff, that's even more out there.
it truly
Like,
is.
But I think people understand it a little bit better because, like, I don't know, picking stuff up. Like, I think everyone kind of gets that. But,
Yeah, like what's weird that fits in your hand that you shouldn't pick up, but you want to see if you can. And like, when I try to explain it to people, you know, like in general, in my like day-to-day life, like I work for an aerospace company, so I work with a lot of engineers that don't lift weights or even exercise. So when I say like, oh, I'm going to Las Vegas this weekend for a grip sport, you know, and they're like, what? Oh, is that like powerlifting? I'm like, well, no, like there is a deadlift, but it's not at all. You know what? Never mind. I'm just going to Vegas, and I'll see you guys in a few days. Because it's just hard to explain, but
it's always powerlifting. Anytime someone doesn't understand a strength sport, they're like, oh, like powerlifting. No, not really.
And I don't understand why powerlifting is the go-to, because for me, that one's the most boring. I cannot watch it. Like any other strength sport, I can watch. Powerlifting just doesn't do it for me.
I would have to agree. I've been to a few, and you're just waiting around, and they all look the same, and the 3 lights go off, and as impressive and as strong as the people are that are doing it, it is boring and it takes forever. And you know, I mean, like at least with the Highland Games, like usually somebody falls, or an implement goes flying off, or the sheath bag comes off of the fork and like might hit somebody in the crowd. Like there's more excitement. There's bagpipes, there's kilts, there's mud, there's rain, there's the elements. I think Highland Games is. Go ahead. Sorry.
Even like in Highland Games, like you have like different, like people like different throwing styles. Like people spin wob or spin sheath. Like it's not the same up and down squat. So like there's a lot more variance to it.
Yeah, and like there's no control over kind of like that. There's certain powerlifting federations where you can only wear certain underwear or a certain like unitard or whatever it's called. I'm sorry. Onesie, wrestling onesie.
It's called singlets, but sure.
Singlets, that's the word. Sorry, powerlifters.
They do get a little bit upset when you call it a onesie, and I won't stop doing it.
I mean, it is one. It's I know it, like I don't know, onesie, singlet, synonymous. But yeah, and like they control what kind of underwear you have on or what kind of wraps or sleeves you have, and there's drug tested ones, undrug tested ones, but it's all the same. It's all up, down, to depth, lights, and then you go and then you pick a new weight, and it's just the 3. You're right. Highland Games is much more exciting because everybody does things differently. And nobody's body type is the same, right? Like we all look so different.
I would agree with that. We asked you earlier this week or last week or whatever to give us like a grip challenge that we can do because we're not arm lifters, we're not grip world champions, So you gave us the where you flip a 45-pound bumper and catch it in a pinch grip, right? Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah.
Okay. So
How'd it go? I
Austin,
saw your video.
yeah, Austin, tell me how did it go?
So Jacob sent me that challenge, and I believe my exact response was, "But that's really hard." um, so I started easy, 10-pound bumper, not a problem. 25, not a problem. 45, I didn't get it. I was able to flip it, grab it, and guide it fairly gently to the ground. So that's close. And I do feel mine were a little bit thicker. I didn't get out and measure it, but
See, he texted me that right away. He's like, mine were thicker, that's why I couldn't do it.
Well,
And that
some of
could
them
be,
are.
yeah, that could be a good reason because I went out and tried it with my high temp bumpers after that, and those things are 2.5 inches like thick or more, and yeah, I could barely pick it up to flip it. So maybe there's something to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw somebody, I know Christine Rothwell did it with she did it with a 35-pound, like thin calibrated plate.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe this past summer. And I was just like, okay, I can't even do that because they're too slippery. Like I need something to kind of grab onto.
yeah.
And hers was so
Hmm.
thin and she just did it. And I'm like, you need to try grip immediately. Like you would be amazing at it. But she's killing the game with Highland Games and everything else she gets her hands on. So if she ever wanted to try it, I think she would absolutely just smoke everybody. So
It is actually.
She's very impressive.
Yeah.
yeah, with everything. So it would be a perfect transition, and I'm sure she'd win immediately without much practice.
So
Well, so
do you have
go ahead,
local
Austin.
arm lifting competitions, or do you have to travel for most of them?
Well, my gym put on so Armlifting USA is the federation. They have kind of international contests. One is called the Super Series, and it's usually in the summer. And any gym can host that. So if you have the implements that are contested, you just have to videotape your lifts and send them in. So we held a Super Series locally, and that qualifies you for the Olympia. Armlifting USA hosts the Super Series every summer, and any gym can put it on. You just have to pay a fee for them, get any implements that are contested, and kind of train and practice. So that makes it easier. And then there's another Grip Sport International hosts something called the King Kong contest, and that's international as well. So that's goes as far as Australia. There's people in Finland, Denmark, Russia, Southeast Asia. It's actually in there now. So all over the world, it's contested, and everybody submits their videos and lifts, and then it's ranked, and then there's prize money for the top contenders in each class, and then rankings and world records. And then, like I said, it's actually a pretty big community. In the United States, it's still a niche sport, but it's pretty big actually internationally. So it's just kind of picking up steam now, with the bigger shows like the Shaw and the Arnold and the Olympia. So it's gaining popularity now. But luckily, the biggest contest, the qualifiers, we can do all remotely, just to get our scores entered, and then from there we get the invites to the bigger contests. So, which makes it more accessible for people to try.
Very cool. Yeah, I think really any sport in the US is pretty niche unless it's football or baseball. Everything else,
Yeah.
it's pretty. No one really knows about it.
Oh, I would
Cricket's becoming
agree. I mean,
popular.
even soccer.
Yeah.
Soccer's just getting like more popular, and it's insanely huge everywhere else. Cricket, like you said, is so huge, and
It's the most popular sport in the world, and like we got some guys here in Topeka that they go to the park and play cricket. They're all dressed in all white from head to toe. They're slinging wooden balls around. It's great.
it's actually a really fun sport. I've gotten the opportunity to play a few times with people in college, and I had a blast. But it's like, I don't know. We have a Quidditch league in Buffalo, and we don't have a cricket league. Like, people actually run around a soccer field on broomsticks and play fake Quidditch, and like, we don't have a cricket league. But
I think a cricket league would actually be pretty cool if they didn't run around on brooms. If there were no brooms involved, like if it was like kind of like a semi-contact sport with a ball, and like I don't know how you'd handle this whole snitch situation, but like I think that could be a pretty sweet game.
yeah, like the 3 goals and I think you're right. We gotta find a way to bring that to the people, I think.
I got more priorities than that. I want to focus on those. I'll let someone else
The
handle
snitch ruins Quidditch anyway.
that.
Like,
Go
it's a
ahead,
bad
explain how
rule.
it
It
ruins
shouldn't
it.
be in there.
Uh-uh. I think
But
the snitch makes perfect sense if you're counting like throughout a league, throughout various game plays, like games. Like you earn like 200 points or whatever, and the other team earns like 300, but you caught the snitch. Those points still tally up to get you to the like world championship, the Quidditch World Cup. So this is why the Quidditch is valid. You can end the game if you catch the
yeah,
snitch.
but
But
like
the
what
points
was
matter
it,
for
like,
the overall.
But the snitch is also worth like 150 points. That's
Right.
way too much. That's way too many points. It's not
there's
balanced. You got to bring that down.
See, no, I think it balances the
There's
entire game.
there's no incentive to just not have a team of seekers. Just have everybody look for it, find it real quick. Don't worry about the ball. You're not going to get that many points.
It ruins the integrity of the game.
No, it doesn't, because each individual like goal. We don't how much is an individual goal? It's like 10 points each, and like you can easily score 200 points in a game. It's Quidditch. And if we're doing it on foot, depending on how high those holes are or those things, like I don't know, that's pretty reasonable.
Disagree.
All right, fine. We're starting a Quidditch league, and we're getting it done. Like, we're laying the framework here. We'll look back in the annals of history and see that what we have done here today.
That's so funny. Can you imagine if there was like a Trump event in Highland Games though? Like, it doesn't matter what you did. Like, if you win this one, like a super impossible, like, I don't know, maybe feat of strength or super impossible implement to throw. And then you did that and you got like, I don't know, a shit ton of points, and you just made up a ton of
Just
ground.
hang a hula hoop at the top of the sheaf standard. Like, if you make it through here,
you automatically
bonus
win
points. Yeah.
You automatically get first in 3 events.
Well,
like, it's worth that many points.
There's a 10th event. That's a 10th event idea. Put a hula hoop on top of the sheaf standard. Whoever makes it through first wins. You get 4 attempts. I'll crush that, dude. I'm very accurate. I'm not trying to go high.
You got to let the hoop spin. Spin and put it at like 22, 23 feet. Where it's like most people can hit that. That'd be good.
Again, we're laying the groundwork on this one too.
We
are
great
big brain
event.
people here.
The Niagara Celtic Games that I was mentioning before, they have the Emil Stone, where it's just like a giant 75-pound stone that, like, it's like their challenge event. So it's just like a stone for distance. And I ended up winning it this year, and I think I beat all the men too, which was like just like a freak thing. I don't even know how I did it. I just kind of held it up and fell for it, and I think it's just because I'm tall, it worked out in my favor. Because there was no method to it. And but yeah, like a Trump event, like one kind of fun challenge event that isn't a challenge caber, I think why not mix it up? That would be fun.
So many people would hate that.
Well, at least it's just like, okay, maybe like for a prize or something like that. Maybe not for points, but like a hula hoop sheaf challenge. I think that's brilliant, but we
You
might
could
have to
do,
host our own games.
yeah, you could do weight for distance into the hula hoop. I think that'd be cool too, because that's like hard to be accurate with
get,
weight for distance.
get one of the 55-gallon drum things. You got to drop it in there from the top.
I would never, ever be able to do that. Never.
That'd be cool.
Maybe lightweight, but definitely not heavyweight. That
I feel like I have a pretty consistent line on my weight for distance. I don't know that I could aim it though. I think it just goes there. And if that's what I'm trying to hit, I think I'll be good. But if I have to aim left or right of that, I don't.
Yeah,
yeah,
weight for
not
distance is
happening.
hard to aim. Hammers are I think are pretty easy to aim, even though like it goes out way further. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, you're a great hammer thrower, though.
I'm not a
Oh,
great
like,
hammer thrower. I do okay.
well, I saw it in person. I think you are, but
I appreciate it.
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I think like two of mine could hit the exact same spot, and whoever's shagging the weights could pick up my hammer and it might even hit the exact same hole. And then my third one will just be like wild and it'll be a freak show and it'll be like 15 feet to the left. And it doesn't make any sense. And a lot of them, like when I practice, I'll find that like they're all kind of in the same spot, maybe a few inches of feet apart. And then one will just it's tired. I'm tired. I'm done. And it'll just freak off to the side. But
Yeah, my practice field, it's there's lines of like just torn up ground, and like it's in like 6 foot like sections, like stones and heavyweight all land, or stones and heavyweight are pretty much in the same area. Once you get past that, like there's a lightweight line, there's a heavy hammer line, and then there's a light hammer line, and they're all like it's just a little strip that's just torn up in like a U shape out there. I trip in my own holes. I know the line is. I still like roll my ankles in them, but
do you
that's a me
guys have?
problem.
Do you both have WOB standards too in your yards, or do you practice somewhere else?
I have a wob standard. Yeah,
I do not, but I do have. My grandpa has a farm just outside of town, so I set up 30-foot standards out there, and then a couple not good practice cabers that I don't think I touched this year. But like, it's a farm, so there's some trees that need to come out, so we cut them down, and I never got around to cleaning them up enough to actually throw. And then a lot of them got Dutch elm, so they're pretty brittle. So I get 5 or 6 turns out of it before they snap.
Before they break.
Yeah.
I don't find practicing caber very useful, because like it's one of those things like once you learn how to do it, it's kind of always there. The variance in like the sticks at games are so different that like you know how to pull correctly, and once you figure that out, you don't really need it. Just get stronger, I guess. That's my thought. That's what I tell people, at least.
Yeah, And it's an awkward thing to practice alone too. Like if you don't have anybody to like walk it up for you, you're just kind of like, okay, I'll do it myself. Well, hopefully it's not too heavy, and you're out there just. I did it at first. I have a lot of land, and some black walnut trees fell, and like really heavy wood, and I got some of those, and I had a shorter practice one that I could easily stand up myself, but then like you said, it just becomes kind of pointless once you figure it out. I'm not going to walk around with this in my own backyard.
You have black walnut cabers.
Yeah.
That's like the most high-end caber in the country. Like that's peak right there.
That
It'd be
I
even better if
have
you put like a cherry inlay in there. Like that's class.
I've actually had people like offer to buy wood from my property, and I'm just like, they were here when I bought it. Like I don't know when they fall. When they fall, I get them. But yeah, I guess I've been fortunate with really high-end, classy wood.
Yeah. I'm a walnut man myself, but I think everyone should have their preferred wood, and mine is walnut.
But I mean, it depends on the use for it, though.
No. Just like quick answer. What's your favorite wood?
Mahogany.
Mahogany.
Okay. Ooh. Exotic.
You're just gonna have to shoot from the hip here. Gonna have to go mahogany.
Mahogany.
Haley, what about you?
Unless it's for smoking, and then applewood.
Okay. Haley, what's
So
your favorite
when
wood?
did you? My favorite wood. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess walnut. But like my favorite candle from Bath and Body is mahogany teak wood. So I do like that scent. I don't know if it applies here at all, but I don't know. No one's ever asked me that. That's so funny.
These are the hard-hitting questions you get on the 9 Day podcast.
The weird thing, no one's asked me that before. It's weird that I had an answer ready.
Most
Mahogany.
guys have a favorite wood, whether they know it or not.
It's true.
So when did you start smoking, Austin? Before or after you turned 30?
Before I turned 30, I did a little bit of smoking, and it's a lot of work, so I didn't do it much. But then one of my dad's friends was moving, and he had a Traeger, like one of the big ones that you can't see either of my hands, but it's this big.
Wow.
And he's like, I don't want to move it. Do you want it? I'm like, I'll take a free smoker. It's a pellet. I don't have to do that much. I've used it once. So, I wouldn't say I'm like a smoker guy, but I do have one that I have turned on once.
It is a lot of work. The payoff's great, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah, the electric one makes it a lot better, but you still do have to like pay attention. I can't just come back in 12 hours.
I hear using a Traeger's like cheating. Like you just kind of put it in there and it does its thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Is it?
I mean, you just have to make sure there's pellets in the feeder, and you still have to like, I don't even know what you call it, but apply your barbecue sauce or paste or whatever. Add moisture to it
Apple cider
every
vinegar.
couple hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, not having to maintain coals and all that stuff is way nicer.
Very cool. All right. Next hard-hitting question from the 9 Day podcast. So you're a spooky girl. That's kind of your jam.
Yeah.
You're in peak season right now. Shit's popping off. What are like your 3 favorite Halloween / like autumn like movies or TV? Top 3.
I don't know if you could see my shirt. Hocus Pocus.
Okay.
I remember like just watching that when I was a little girl and just like this is my movie. My mom had a bunch of family that lived in Salem. Her sister lived in Salem, so like we would visit there and like the witch trials and all that stuff. It just became like, okay, this is part of my family. This is part of my blood. Like I gotta just dive into the witch thing. But tonight with my daughter, actually, we carved pumpkins and we watched Halloween Town. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's like from.
Yeah, I've seen all of them.
Okay. Okay. It's like a Disney Channel original movie. And like I loved it, and she likes the Halloween Town High, and I'm like, I don't really like that one, but we watched the original, and then we started her favorite. And then I don't know. Like, I don't know if I could pick a third. But if I had to, gun to my head, Nightmare Before Christmas. But if people think that's more Christmas and not Halloween, or it can be both.
It does both.
It does
It
both.
does do both.
It does do both. So I watched that, but I like watching Harry Potter movies at Christmas time. So yeah,
Those are Christmas movies.
Yeah, they are. We do like a marathon on Christmas Day usually. But yeah, Hocus Pocus. Insert any Tim Burton movie, really. And
Okay.
Halloween Town.
All right, Austin, you're up.
All right, I struggle with these lists. I don't watch a lot of like horror movies, which is kind of where I went to. But Tucker and Dale versus Evil is
I like
it's
that.
a comedy horror,
Yeah.
and it is hilarious. Fantastic. If you haven't seen it, absolutely check it out.
It's very good.
That is very good. I had a week to figure this out too.
It's not life or death. I'm not going to attack you for your answers.
I don't know. After the Lost discussion, I'm not sure that's true.
Haley, have you seen Lost?
Yes.
What do you think of it?
I thought the first
Be
3
gentle.
seasons were great.
Okay.
And then it kind of jumped the shark a little bit and got a little too wild for me. But I still watched it. Like I watched the
That's like
entire
your
thing
opinion.
because I had to.
Well, perfect. That's good enough for me. Austin is not in the same camp.
Okay.
Didn't care for it.
It's not for everybody.
Yes. It's not.
I feel like I have other Halloween, autumn movies that I like. That's the only one I can think of right now. Anything with Alan Tudyk's going to be good, though.
Right.
So, I mean, Nightmare Before Christmas is very good.
Yeah,
And
I think with Nightmare Before Christmas is on my list. Same with like Hocus Pocus. And then it's like I can't really like pinpoint a third. Like Halloween Town's like a classic. Like any like Disney Channel original movie that had to do with like Halloween, like what's the one with the mummy? Unwrapped? Wrapped?
Oh yeah, that was cute.
Okay. Yeah, it's like those are like kind of iconic in like the back of my head. Like, oh yeah, you grew up on those. But like just like a wild card, like that's more autumn themed for like at least half of the series. Gilmore Girls. I mean, it's Gilmore Girls season right now. Austin, have you seen Gilmore Girls?
Yeah, I had.
My man.
I have an older sister, so I've seen probably most of it.
I've seen most of it
when it was first coming out.
Lorelai's the villain, and I hold that down.
Matt Hand actually messaged me like I don't know, maybe a month ago, and he's like, "You seem to be having a Gilmore Girls fall already." Like, what the hell? Like, it was just such a bizarre, like, out of left field comment. But I'm like, "You're not wrong. Like, you're not wrong."
He's
And I'm
very
like,
observant,
I don't
that
really,
Matt Hand.
yeah, I don't consider myself a Lorelai, but you're not wrong. Just it is a very fall show, and I think it gives everybody that cozy, like, fall foliage, just vibe to it. There's a lot of fall movies though. Like, there was a whole list of them, like When Harry Met Sally and
Oh yeah,
Stepmom and Good Will Hunting, even with the foliage scene around Boston Public Garden. Like, there's like a whole crap ton of them that you could say are fall movies, but I don't know. And I think of a fall movie, I really just think of Halloween.
right.
But it is my jam, and I am a spooky girl, so thanks for noticing.
Yeah, the spookiest. Yeah. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, now is for the best segment of the show. This is the bro nerd spectrum. Enunciate. Bro nerd spectrum. This is where we are. Are you familiar with the podcast? Have you listened before?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to ask you a series of probing questions to find out what level of nerd or bro you are. Because in the Highland Games, there's only two options. It's either nerd or bro.
Okay.
Sliding scale.
Austin, I'll let you go first.
All right. So you played both basketball and volleyball growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're doing a lot of training. Do you know what your squat, bench, deadlift maxes are off the top of your head?
Of all time or current? Yes, I do.
Okay.
Bro.
I also feel like, and open to discussion, I feel like volleyball is kind of a bro sport. On the flip side, hand lifting, very nerdy sport.
Absolutely. You're absolutely. I would agree. I've never heard of volleyball being a bro sport before.
We're using bro as a gender neutral term here. So I think that's
Yeah, I think
that's why it doesn't get used a lot.
I think volleyball falls under bro. Like, it's like diet bro. It's light, but it's still up there. I think that's mostly because, like, it's competed at the Olympics. It's a collegiate sport, and people like you start at like young age and like just continue to do it, and like it engulfs them. Like lacrosse players, that's like the most bro sport we've discovered.
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah, it's a bro-iest sport. Okay,
I like lacrosse players are a different breed, and I don't want to like get DMs from angry lacrosse players, but like it's
half our listeners.
It's the broiest of they're the worst. They're the worst.
They know they are. They are the worst. Okay, so one of the questions we've had before, and you already answered it earlier, is that you had a kilt before your first games. That kicks you over more towards the nerd right now. So my next question would be, so what's your favorite like fantasy series? Like whether it be a book or a movie or a show?
Harry Potter.
Okay.
Harry Potter or Game of Thrones.
Okay, so this is a fun one because Harry Potter is neutral. It's not nerd, nor is it like bro. But Game of Thrones is bro. So by my calculation,
and we never really clarified this.
But I read the books before the show. Does that help?
Okay, yes. There's more. Okay, yes. There's follow-up questions to Harry Potter. So you read the books before the movies. When did you read the books? When you found
when
the
I was
movies
a kid.
were coming out, Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. How many other fantasy series
Did you
have you read?
go? Were you at the
Uh,
bookstore at midnight to get the next book that came out?
oh, I mean, my parents, no, they made me wait, and I had to like save up my money for them, and it was a whole thing. But yes, like I, as soon as they came out, I would get the next one. I read through them, and then I read through them again, and then I like would just have to wait, and then I got like a box set, and then I got the picture box set, and then when my daughter was born, I'm like, all right, well, you're going to be a Harry Potter fan too, so I'm gonna get you these. I'm gonna get you your own set, and no, but I think I've read all of the big fantasy series too. Like I'm an avid reader, so I've kind of torn through all of them, including The Hobbit. So, and that was and Dune. Does that count? Those I've read all the
Yeah,
Dune
Dune
books.
is high tier nerd. Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially if you get through all of it.
I did. I it was quite the challenge because Dune gets really weird after the third book, but
I haven't got there yet. Okay, good enough.
it gets really weird, like sandworm human hybrids, and yeah, you're in for a treat.
Great. Okay, so oh man, that pushes you over like pretty hard nerd at this point. Like reading like The Hobbit, Dune, things of that. So have you read? This is just a personal question. Have you read Red Rising, the Red Rising series?
I don't think so, but maybe refresh my memory.
I don't know. It's about like I don't know. It's like thousands of years in the future. There are different like it's in our solar system. Like everyone is like in a class system based on like color, and like the golds are the top tier people, and they're giants. They're like 7 foot tall and jacked and pretty or handsome,
Oh.
and then like the reds are like the lowest level people, and like they're like dumb coal miners on like under the surface of Mars, like they've never seen like outside, and then they rise up. The red rise up. That's it's worth looking into.
Oh, no, I haven't. That sounds
It
really
is.
cool.
It's very
Red
cool.
Rising.
I tell
Thank
everyone to
you.
read it because I like it a lot. All right.
Actually, on the spooky side of things, I just audiobook listened to The Headless Horseman.
Okay.
Not at all what I expected it to be.
Well, how do you mean?
I am convinced that there's no Headless Horseman in The Headless Horseman. Like it was just another guy.
Scaring him off?
Yeah. Like, that's.
I mean, sure.
It's just this whole big thing, and then you actually read the story, and there's no actual hauntings. It was just a guy that read ghost stories and scared himself, and then
I mean,
had a
I've done
pumpkin
that.
thrown at
Like,
him.
yeah, I
No,
get
for
that.
sure.
Like, I'll scare myself all the time. Last night, so we just moved into this place, and last night, or the night before, um, I had to go close the chickens in, which are like a ways from the house, and we live out in the country, and there's no lights anywhere. It's very black outside, and the dog was out there with me, and I go put the chickens up, and then I'm coming back, and she's still wandering around, so I give a little whistle, a little like just to call her back, and then someone whistled back at me, and I got all freaked out, like, "Ugh, dude, I'm going inside. Hurry up!" I'm yelling at the dog, "Get in here!" So
Was
that's
your
fun.
do you have a close neighbor?
No, they
Oh my
are.
God.
I have a neighbor to the east of me, and they're about 500 yards. And then the neighbor to the west of me, about 500 yards. And the neighbors to the south of me, I don't know, a mile. So, Yeah, that was weird. That was very weird. And like, this is like the second night of like us living here. I'm like, great. So now I got to deal with that.
Definitely a ghost. You're definitely.
But it's
You're
outside,
done.
like an
You're.
outside ghost.
Yeah.
You never know. You
But
never
yeah,
know.
I can see scaring yourself to thinking there's a headless horseman running around.
Yeah. So I don't think I ever clarified this. There's no better or worse on the bro nerd spectrum. We're all friends at the Highland Games. That's one of the beautiful things about the Highland Games. I typically wouldn't be such good friends with such strong bros if not for the Highland Games. I'm gonna say 6'4" is kind of where I'm leaning. Nerd bro. Where are you guys
See,
sitting?
I was thinking she's going to be 70-30 nerd. Because the voracious reader and
Yeah.
the anything Tim Burton comment, that throws
That's
pretty
true.
hard nerd. So
I'm not upset.
Go ahead.
I'm not disagreeing with your numbers either. So maybe what would you put yourself at?
I mean, I think I'm definitely a bro because like, you know, I
Volleyball.
go to football. I have season tickets to football games.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
big-
I
Bill's
forget
Mafia.
football
You're crashing
exists.
through tables.
I know. I'm a member of the Bills Mafia. I have jumped through a table.
Okay. Dude, you're hitting 50-50 right now.
but I'm also a huge nerd, so I think I'm 50-50 personally.
You're 50,
but
okay. Dude, I'm locking
Yeah.
And the
it in.
Highland Games are perfect for you.
You are 50-50. Yes. Thank God you found the games. That's perfect.
That's great.
So, but you've really jumped through tables and stuff?
I have twice, yes. One with
off of
my
a school bus?
off. Yes, one was off of a party bus
Let's go.
with my sister, and then the other one was just kind of like my friend kind of picked me up and slammed me through it. So that one, I don't know if that counts, but yes, I've done one
Yeah.
off of something and two.
Yeah. Dude, that's the best. This is what I wanted to hear. I wanted to know that you did this.
Yeah,
So,
there's a video somewhere, but I'll have to dig it out in the archives.
So does that so from what I understand, like that comes from like amateur pro wrestling in New York, like it's kind of big up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Amateur pro wrestling that like New York is like just said it's ours.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like my dad played professional football, and a lot of his friends transitioned to wrestling. And when we were growing up, like just the Western New York kind of exploded with amateur wrestling. It was like the Attitude Era of WWE when we were kids, and like everybody was obsessed with it. So like all these different leagues were popping up, and like our community colleges would have wrestling night and like set up a ring, and people would come in with different characters and jump into tables and use chairs and just beat the hell out of each other. And it became like, you know, instead of Friday Night Lights like you have in the South, up here it was just like Friday night wrestling. It's just a bizarre pastime, but it became a thing. And then I don't know who the first Bills Mafia member to do it was, but then it was just like everybody did it, and there was all of these parking lots surrounding the stadium, and then every section would have one knucklehead doing it. And then if the table didn't break, they would set it up again for the next worthy challenger. And because sometimes they don't break, and it's really weird. You get like a sturdy table, and they won't. People get hurt. People get messed up, but.
I'm here for it. I remember seeing that like years ago on like Instagram, and I was like, "This is the coolest thing ever," because it's just so weird.
It is weird, and there's a home game Sunday, so if I see one happening, I'll film it for you and tag the
You got to do it.
podcast.
Bring a table.
But they're like $60, so it's like it's kind of like a christening for like a new member. Like, okay, you want to become one of us, you need to buy a table, you need to do it, and then you're in. And then like, it is like a christening. Like if you haven't, you need to do it, and you need to be the one that brings the table, and you need to be ready to be bruised up and messed up for a while and potentially injured, but everyone will love you.
I'm sure you've seen the video of like the baby Bill's Mafia christening where they have like the baby and they lower it through like the table. Have you
The
seen
amount,
that?
yes, the amount of people that have sent that to me and asked me like if this is a thing, if this happens with all the babies in Western New York. It's like, no, it's not a requirement, but it happens.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah. I mean, like we just have fun because for so long we were the worst. Like we were the worst team. We're the worst team in the NFL. The laughing stock. We lost 4 in a row. We didn't have much to hold on to, so the tailgate became like what we were good at. Like we're really loud and we're really good at tailgating, and that's what we had until Josh Allen became our quarterback. So
Yeah, very cool. So next segment we got Austin's secret segment. Austin,
Yeah.
what is your secret segment?
Something we're gonna try here. So I got curious, and so I went on to Chronicling America. And if you don't know what that is, it's the Library of Congress's newspaper database. And since you're from New York, I put in the search terms New York and Highland Games. And I got an article about some Highland Games from Manhattan from 1874, and I have the results from those games. So we're going to play a game where I'm going to ask you questions that you have no reason why you would know the answers to, and we'll see how close we can get.
okay.
All right. So it was not just the heavy events. They had the kind of cross-country light events as well. How many different jumping events were at these Highland Games?
3.
Do you want to take a guess? Did you look at it?
I have it. Yeah.
No.
I won't look at it. I barely looked at it.
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to close it, so I stopped trying to look at it. There we go. Okay, like I was going to say 3.
It was 6.
Wow.
There's 5 throwing events. 5 throwing events, 6 jumping events. This is a running jump. We had the standing high leap.
Is it like a box jump?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. There's also the hitch and kick, which, as far as I can tell, is a jumping contest of some sort. Pole vault, which I'm counting as a jumping event. The hop, step, and jump. And I'm missing one. Standing jump and running jump.
See, I've heard of
It's 2
a hop,
different
skip,
events.
and a jump.
Niche. Jumping events.
All right. Finish on that one. Let's see if we can get numbers here. Putting the heavy stone. Higher or lower 35 feet?
I would assume only men, so lower. at that
I'm gonna
point
say
in time.
higher.
36.7 was the winning throw.
Oh, no.
All right, and then let's see.
It's a solid Braemar, trust me.
Well, it was a heavy stone throw. Can't say it was a Braemar.
Right.
I don't have the weight, and I don't know if they had an approach.
I'm sure they did.
I was just
That's kind
assuming
of
they were weaker back in 1874, so I said lower.
All right, putting the light stone over under 45.
Now I got to go over.
Dude, I'm taking the heel. We're going under.
43.2 was the winning throw.
Dang.
Wait,
That's
third
a fine.
place
That's
was
a fine open stone. Trust me.
37.7. All right. I don't even know how to include this as a question. So I just got to talk about it. One of the contested events was the broadsword dance. So that's fun.
How far did that go?
I need video.
LD Robertson won. A.
Oh.
Nevins got second. James West got third.
James West got third?
James West got third.
No way.
Yeah. Didn't see that coming, really.
Out of left field.
Upset of the century.
All right, and then the $1 million question. What was the winning caber score?
I've been wrong this entire time. I don't know.
You will be wrong on this one too.
230. Was it scored the same way?
It was not.
Okay. Oh God, I have no idea. I have 50 feet.
That's actually pretty good.
Okay.
That was pretty good. It was 38.11.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Sure.
I found multiple articles from like the 1800s of Highland Games. They're all scored at distances. So I have to assume, like at 38 feet, if you measured from where you threw it to if you turned it where the handle landed, 38 feet feels like a reasonable number, right? Because if there's a 16-foot caver and you just turned it, you didn't get any distance, you're at 32 feet.
Oh,
So
yeah.
You're telling me
that's got to
numbers.
be how it was scored,
I can't.
right? If you say
Yeah,
it fast enough, it sounds good.
No, you're right. I guess I didn't think about it like that.
So then I think if you threw it straighter, it would go farther.
Yeah, I guess because if we don't know how they did it, so I don't know.
But we can speculate. No
Yeah, we
pictures,
can't speculate.
unfortunately.
Well,
Also,
what I can say is
worth
they're doing
note.
it wrong.
Well, someone is. I wouldn't mind doing a caber for distance as like a 10th event. That sounds fun.
I guess
I think I'd be
for
bad at
distance
it.
news, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Also worth note, there was 2 separate 3-legged races. One for members of the Caledonian Club and one for everyone else. For reasons.
Well, how exclusive.
Yeah. Also a sack race.
That would be fun.
Also, 86-foot heavy hammer. So that's solid.
So that's an okay toss for back then.
I mean,
The average life expectancy was 45. So.
Their training cycles were way different than mine. So, like, I'll give it to them. Good toss.
Yeah.
They had cocaine in their pop.
Yeah.
So.
It probably helps.
They're everything.
I don't feel good. Do cocaine about it.
Do cocaine about it. Oh my God. I have a cough. Do cocaine.
They're ghosts in my blood. Do cocaine.
It's leeches for that.
Oh, yes.
Only a 21-foot, 50-pound weight throw, though. So that's not good.
I'm going to assume it wasn't on a chain. So,
Even so, 20 feels short.
well, 80-foot hammer feels short. But so,
86. That's a
all
heavy
right.
hammer.
Right.
That's decent. They're not. I don't think they got paid for this.
I think they did. I think everyone got paid until not that long ago. But
I hope
I have to check the
LD
records.
Robertson got some good money for his broadsword dance. That's all I can say.
We're going to contact his family.
All right, I will get on to family search and see who I can track down.
The last surviving members of his family.
They're gonna be like, please stop bothering me with this.
Fourth person this month.
All right. Very cool. Is that all you got for that one?
That's all I got for that one.
Okay. So up next, we have a new segment. This is Strength History. Where if we had like a soundboard, we'll plug in a sound there. It's like strength, rah, something cool.
I thought you were going to do like the reading rainbow, like rainbow noise.
Oh, the more you know.
The more you know. What was his name? LeVar Burton?
LeVar Burton.
Or am I thinking? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. That guy's been in so many things that you don't realize until you hear someone name them all out. Yeah. I can only name two, just Reading Rainbow and Star Trek.
But he also had a podcast, which was great, where he just reads stories to you.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he is the voice of a scientist in one of the newer, I don't know if it's the current one, but one of the newer Transformer cartoons.
Oh, cool.
Like a show.
I just happened to come across that like this month.
All right. Well, since we're bringing up LeVar Burton, he was on Reading Rainbow, Star Trek, Trivial Pursuit, which I'm assuming is a movie. He was on the show Community for a lot of years. If you guys ever watch Community? I hear good things.
That sounds familiar. I mean, I don't think I haven't watched it, but I
did. I didn't realize LeVar Burton was on there.
Yeah, but his IMDb is way more expansive than you would think. He was on Smart House. That's a Disney Channel original movie.
I loved Smart House.
Dude, I thought Smart House would be so cool, and then like she went evil, and now everyone's trying to have smart houses, and I'm like, no, I've seen this. Don't do this.
I've seen this play out. Katie Seagal goes crazy and controls everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Enough LeVar Burton talk. We're on strength history. Unfortunately, this strength history is about Jeff Capes. Are you familiar with Jeff Capes? He was the 3-time Olympic shot putter in the Olympics, 2-time World's Strongest Man, 3-time Europe's Strongest Man, 3-time Britain's Strongest Man, 6 times World Highland Games champion, 81, 83, 84, 85, 86, and 87. He still currently holds the British shot put world record and once held the world record for weight over bar. An absolute legend in strength history. That's Jeff Capes. He recently passed away a week ago now.
I was going to say that I saw somebody post like Rogue maybe, and then a bunch of athletes were resharing it. I did see that.
Yeah. He was most famous for his like World's Strongest Man appearances because, I mean, he won it twice and he competed in it like 6-7 times. Back when like in the days of like Jean-Paul Sigmarinsen, what's his name? Bill Kazmaier, like the olden days when they actually had weight over bar and caber in strongman, stuff like that.
Right.
It was it's a shame he's gone, but he did leave quite the legacy. I remember like watching World's Strongest Man when I was a kid on like TV, and it'd just be reruns of it. And there was like one weekend where it was like only those from like the late '70s, early '80s. It was just those, and so you got to see a lot of Jeff Capes in that. But there are very few people in strongman and in Highland Games who have that kind of like strength sports like pedigree. It is a very rare thing to do what he did. But so
Yeah.
that's the news on that. Um, so last segment is kind of like news. This is the news segment where we cover the news. And this week's news is, I'm sure everyone has seen it at this point. Because, I mean, granted, during filming this, it came out today, or was announced today. And when this is aired, it'll be a couple days after that. But the Rogue Invitational is going to have Highland Games. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's so exciting for the sport. I mean, I don't know. I think it's huge growth, and it puts more eyes on it, and that can only be good as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Yeah, I'm excited for everybody involved. I think it's huge.
It's very excited. I'm hoping that they'll have the live stream. I'm hoping that it gets highlighted well there, and like the general live stream, and doesn't get, I don't know. There's the virtual, like you can get a ticket and then you can control the camera angles and stuff. I don't know how all of that works
Yeah, I'm not sure.
because
But
it's not on the schedule yet.
no, it's
So I was at
not.
Rogue digging around trying to find more information
Yeah.
than it's happening, and
So,
as of this afternoon, there wasn't
right.
anything.
And I don't know if there's going to be. So I talked to the powers that be, Brother Josh, and he gave me kind of the rundown. So those times that they have listed on that on that Instagram reel that they put out, 8:30 to 10:30 is going to be wait for distance and wait over bar. That's going to be done with like a rogue. It's a rogue implement. It's not. I don't think it's the big bags that they've used previously at the Arnold, but it's going to be just heavyweight. And 2:30 to 3:30, it's going to be caber, and then 6 to 7, it's going to be Braemar plus like the results, the podium, right? And these times are kind of the times in between the CrossFit games or the CrossFit Invitational. I'm not sure exactly what that event is called. And then the strongman competition. It's like what separates those. So they're not having it on the main field that you would see the strongman and CrossFitters competing on. It's in the vendor village. So that's the times when everyone's like leaving their seats and going to the vendor village and doing that stuff. The downtime, the hour and a half, 2 hours in between the events that they've been promoting, and that's when they're going to try to squeeze in live streams in the middle of that. So how much or how little we will actually get live streamed for the Highland Games, I don't think we quite know yet, because I think they're still trying to suss out what they can like show us. But it is very cool. Do you guys want to know who's going to be there? You want to know the roster?
I
I'm
think
going to
they
tell
showed
you.
it on No Fame Game, right? On
Did
the,
they?
but tell us anyway. Tell
I
tell
want
It was
to tell
tell the
you.
rhetorical. Go
listeners.
ahead.
Okay,
I don't
so
think we could stop you.
because exactly, I want to keep going. We have men and women. Going for the men. We have Sinclair Patience, Kyle Randalls, Vlad Tulicek, Glenn Neese, Jamie Gunn, American Matthew McDougall, Sean Gunn, Greg Walker, and for the women we have Elizabeth Elliott, American Christine Rothwell, and I don't know, man, she's doing both things. Hannah Lindsay is going to be competing for the strongman and for this, which is nuts.
Insane.
I don't know why she would do that.
To her body and to her mind.
Yeah.
But if anyone can, it's Hannah. I mean, she's a beast. She jumped back between strongman at the home games. So.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good times. So it should be pretty good. This is like, I don't know. This is something I posted about earlier, was the fact that everyone has all these ideas of how to make the Highland Games bigger, better, get more eyes on it. And it's a lot of talk. It's a lot of people from the outside looking in, not really like understanding what it takes and stuff like that. But this is like one of those opportunities that, like, I don't know, man, we as a community seize the opportunity. There's a bunch of people when they announced that the Rogue Invitational was going to be in Aberdeen. Yeah, Aberdeen. That they're like, oh, there should be Highland Games there. And so they got a bunch of Scots together and made it happen, got in Rogue's face and said, we're going to do this thing. And then Rogue said, sure. I mean, that's like the simplest way to put it, but there was a lot of communication going back. Like, and Dr. Bill Crawford, the legend, Dr. Bill Crawford, he has he's had Rogue's ear for the longest time, and he's been trying to get this thing to happen. And with the amount of Scottish people that wanted to see this happen, and with him working behind the scenes, they were able to get it done. And this is year one of this. There's hopefully more years to come, but should be pretty exciting.
We also get to see if.
Go ahead.
No, we also get to see if Vlad can keep the streak going. Undefeated season at, was it 21 games this
21
year?
21 games undefeated, which is nuts.
Yeah. I've seen him throw one time in person, and it was like I don't know. And all the pros there were amazing, but he was just a cut above. He's like in his own kind of stratosphere. But like Sinclair Patience and Kyle Randalls are phenomenal throwers. So it'll be exciting to watch. It's super huge for the sport. So I'm so excited because CrossFit and Strongman are so big that if Highland Games is at an event where they're both being contested at, it's going to get so many people like interested and aware of the sport. And I think it's amazing what Josh and Bill Crawford have done for that opportunity.
Yeah, and it's kind of like this is our second chance. Like we had the Arnold back in the day, and that's no more, obviously, but that was an opportunity there to have more eyes on the Highland Games in one weekend than anything else in our sport. And now that that's gone, this is hopefully going to fill that void of being the thing to get strangers' eyes on it. And I don't know, I guess make Highland Games a household name, because it's not right now. But I was also like in these conversations I've had with people that they wanted me to really like point out the fact that this wouldn't have been possible without like the community over there and in the States here really pushing for it, because there are people over there that are who are getting ready for this, like Elizabeth Elliott. She's kind of like, from what I gather, I don't follow a lot of female Highland Games in Scotland, but apparently she's the OG. She's been kind of pioneering the way for women's Highland Games in Scotland. Because they don't have a lot of it. It's not like a super big thing over there. And like I think she's like shuttling implements like over to the place. Like she and a few other people got in contact with like the Aberdeen like a city council, I guess that's what they are, and to get, because they're using their implements for the event, and guys like Patience who helped like select all these guys to show up. There's just like a ton of people who like really saw an opportunity and wanted to like capitalize on it, because it's huge for us. It's the biggest thing we've seen in a long time. But I just want to make that like very clear. Like, it is not just one person. It's not just Brother Josh. It's not just Dr. Bill. Like, it's a ton of people who saw an opportunity and wanted to use it.
Oh, absolutely.
But they're also using a 20-pound indoor shot, so that's cool for all the shot putters out there. Because throwing stones is boring. But so also like another thing too is like that I was told, because they're doing it at an indoor event or an indoor venue, they're having to like, I don't know, I guess bandage up a caber so it's not so like damaging. They're padding it so like when it lands it doesn't like break anything.
Oh, like the fiberglass ones that were at the Arnold, or like it's a wooden caber that's padded?
I think it's a wooden caber that's padded, because it's the same cabers they use for Aberdeen games. So like
that's really cool.
That's going to be hard to turn.
Oh, I'm sure. But they're doing a lot of things to that we wouldn't normally do to please the venue, please the people, to make it happen. It's very interesting from like an event planning perspective, that like it's very different than the games that we do here. But I'm excited. I think everyone else is excited too.
I know. It's like it's coming up so fast. Like I just like, it's so exciting. Like the video that came out today, I was just like, okay, all right, well, what am I doing next weekend? I need to carve out some time because now I know what I'm doing.
And I don't know if those times were translated or not. If those times were local,
I'm pretty sure they're local.
5 hours later in Central Standard Time.
Yeah, if you want to watch Wait for Distance and Wob, you're gonna have to get up early, or not go to bed. If you want to watch it live, I guess. But that is a tough time change. Tough time
slot.
Yeah. But
worth it.
Should all be recorded. I mean, I got nothing to do. I'll be up.
I think I already commented like I'll be there in spirit. I'm going to be watching. So now like I feel like I have to you put it out there, you put it in writing, you got to put your money where your mouth is. So I guess I know what I'm doing early as hell next weekend.
The good news is for Sunday, it is daylight savings. So you get an extra hour.
Oh, good point.
How do you know when daylight savings is?
Someone
a calendar
mentioned it to me. No, absolutely not. Someone mentioned to me last Sunday.
I just find out the day before, like everyone else.
Wait, I have one clock in the house that I have to change. It's just cell phones, so it's not really an issue anymore.
Yeah, my microwave. That's.
I stopped setting it because I'm just gonna have to change it.
It'll eventually go back to being the right time.
Right. I'm terrible with like dates and things like that. Like I don't know when anyone's birthday is. I've got in trouble with that before. People are like, My mom's like, "How do you not know when my birthday is?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. Someone just tells me the day before, like daylight savings time." So,
Aw, poor mom.
which, hey, I still call her. I still see her on her birthday. I just find out the day before. But it's not just her. It's everyone. I was told it's because I don't find people that important, which I don't think that's true. I just think I have a trouble with numbers. The dyscalculia runs tough with the dates.
Well, honestly, a lot of people wouldn't remember. Like Facebook helps a lot of people. I think social media helps a lot of people remember because somebody's usually telling you it's their birthday or there's a reminder. So that's that's how I do it. But I at least remember my own family.
Okay, I remember my two older brothers and my dad's birthday because they're all on the same day. It's it would be really cool if they were all three like they were twins and then my dad. So like it's not as exciting as if like they're all born like years and years apart on the same day. But that's easy to remember. And my wife's obviously because her birthday's on uh, leap day, so that's easy to
Oh, that's
remember.
cool.
Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah.
Other than those two or those four technically, um, I don't know anyone else's birthday. Not a single person. But that's just a little personal fact about me.
If you ever have to share an uninteresting fact about yourself, you're set.
That is, dude, I'm full of uninteresting facts. But do you guys have any Highland Games related news? Any strongman related news? Any, I don't know, anything else?
No, I mean I think the Rogue Invitational is the next big one for strongman too. So
Right.
a lot of people are going over there. I mean, like the girls that are going are getting their kilts ready. So I don't know. I would assume, are they doing like a weight for height event too in the strongman?
I don't know. I know the strongman people, like anytime they're doing a stone lift, they're putting kilts on for that. And I
Yeah.
think I saw that they'd made a replica inverse stone.
Yeah.
Is that what yeah, I think they're definitely
Was
gonna
it the
be.
invert or was it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I
Let
don't know.
me,
They did make a new replica stone.
which is very cool that they're doing those because they're actually like they're really neat. They're not just loading pins with weights on it that they're carrying around like for the Denny replicas and stuff like that. They're actually like the Denny. Yeah, like the Husfeld stone that they did at the Arnold, uh, that they've been using at the Arnold. It's like down to like the finest like little detail of the match the actual Husafell stone.
That's really
So that's pretty neat.
and CrossFit's doing the Husafell sandbag too. Obviously that can't be exact because it's a sandbag,
Right.
but I think that's like a cool nod. Just to the location and history. So I think that's cool that they're doing that.
Okay. Well, do you throw with a group where you're at, or do you throw primarily by yourself?
I do. We do have. There was like a group called the Buffalo Heavies that kind of got together for practices and clinics for newbies. But I have a group of girls that I will practice with. Just in the warmer months. So it's like we have a rainy season in the spring where it's just all rainy and like the ground's super spongy and it makes it quite difficult. So
Mm.
utilizing indoor sandbags and stuff like that really helps for us unless the ground is hard. It's quite easy in the winter when everything's hard and snowy because then it's going nowhere and it can just stay. But when it's muddy and spongy out, that's when it's the most challenging to get practice in. But Yeah, I have like a group of 3 or 4 girls that I'll practice with. And Matt moved to California, so he's out of the loop. And then we did have another pro, Nick Kahanick, that lived here, but he retired. So it's really kind of dwindling in my area. All of a sudden.
So what you're saying is, if you live in Western New York, contact you and you'll throw at them every weekend.
Absolutely. No, I would love that. I think like the Sisterhood of the Highland Throwers has me as one of their contacts, but so far,
yeah, you're one of the regional people.
Yeah, I'm one of the regional contacts. So, I welcome anybody really. I get a lot of people interested, and then it's like time to show up, and they got stuff to do, or they. But a lot of people want to try it. Yeah,
I've been stood up so many times.
Mm-hmm. Like it looks cool and it looks fun, and then when it's time to actually do it and you make a fool out of yourself and you're trying something new, a lot of people end up like, oh, something came up, or but it's understandable. It's when you're an adult trying something new, sometimes you get a little too embarrassed, but that fear is gone when you're a kid. So
yeah, that's why I think like people have talked about this before, that like whether it's good to get a practice group and like before your first games, or if it's best to just dive into the games. And I've always been in the mindset of like just go to the games. Like first off, like don't worry about practicing, don't worry about trying anything. Just show up with your little kilt on, and because the people are the ones that are going to like keep you there. You're going to make a fool of yourself on the field, but like everyone else in your little group is falling on the ground as well.
No, absolutely. I think I started that way. Like I said, it was just like I signed up, touched the implements, and then went and showed up, and I didn't even know if I would have a spot, and they let me. And then from there, I became hooked because of the people, not because I was good. And I definitely made a fool out of myself. So still do.
On occasion, still do. Yeah.
Yeah, still do. Still do quite a bit.
Yeah. All right, so we're coming up on time. That's pretty much all I got. Do you guys have any final responses?
You have your own podcast?
I do, yeah. Mine's primarily it's actually all grip related. It's called The Gift of Grab, like a play on words.
It's a very good name.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We're jealous.
And we even my co-host made like our intro song, because he's just like a music aficionado and like creates songs for random shit, and like he's just like, I have the greatest idea for a song. I'm like, all right, you go ahead, because I can't do any of that. But it's really actually quite catchy, and we just recorded our 10th episode, so we're newbies to it ourselves, but we kind of got into a little bit of the groove, and then he's like, should we do seasons? Like, how does this work? And we're like, I don't know. Like, keep going as long as people want to talk to us, I guess. So
do you get guests on there, other grip aficionados?
Yeah, we just had a father-daughter duo from California on our recent episode. And then before that was an Olympia recap with some athletes that did quite well. And we've had a few people from the UK on there. So the time zone thing with them was a little bit of a challenge, just trying to coordinate, because they wanted to do it at night. We wanted to do it at night, but, it's quite, and then we plan on doing some more. We had an episode with 2 guys from Chile in South America. So, but they're in the same time zone, oddly enough, which was easy. But I didn't know that going in. I'm like, oh, how do we do this? And they're like, we're in the same time zone. I'm like, oh yeah, it's right in the right line. Doy. But it's been cool because you get to kind of meet people and get to know people on a different level than you would in competition. So
Awesome. Do you want to
yeah.
plug your social?
Sure. You can find me at Haley_SG. Nothing fancy there. I created the name, I think, when I first signed up, and now I'm like, I wish it was Grip or Highland Games related, but I feel like I can't change it because then I'm worried people won't be able to find me anymore. But yeah, I don't do TikTok. Don't have a YouTube, but I do have a podcast and an Instagram. So
Perfect. You're
find me
gonna get
there.
that. You're gonna get that 9-point day bump. You'll see it.
Yeah.
All 10
Be
of
on the
us are gonna
lookout
come
for
out.
ones of new followers.
Yeah. Be on the lookout. All right,
Well,
Austin.
you guys just started. Was your what?
Oh,
Fourth
this is
episode?
fourth. Yeah, number 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
Number 4.
Austin,
Well, thank
got
you guys
anything?
for having me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you
Thanks for coming on. It was great to talk to you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's it. So far,
All
God
right.
bless.